To keep the body in good health is a duty. Otherwise, we shall not be able to keep our mind strong and clear. That is a quote by Buddha.
Welcome to Trina Talk. Trina Talk is a weekly podcast that will inspire and empower women of all ages to strive for the impossible. Your host, Trina L. Martin from TrinaMartin.com, is a motivational speaker, leader, and cyber tech expert. Every week, Trina will share wisdom gained from her life experiences and lessons learned while pursuing her goals to inspire you to achieve the next level in your life. Now, your host, Trina L. Martin.
Hello, welcome to Trina Talk. I am your host, Trina L. Martin, and this is episode 21. This week's topic is natural living. My guest this week is Joyce Holden Wheeler. Joyce has a passion to reach as many people as possible and inform them about having a better quality of life by living naturally. Joyce goes in and tells us how the things that we eat and the things that we put on our body can have an adverse effect on our health. And she in turns tells us some natural things we can do to keep ourselves healthy. Sit back and enjoy the interview with Joyce. Just one note, I would like to apologize for the feedback coming from Joyce's speaker when I joined the conversation. Hello, Joyce. Welcome to Trina Talk.
Hi, Trina. Thank you so much for having me on.
Well, it is my pleasure. So, Joyce, I have been researching, reading about you, and I know you told me a little bit about yourself and how you like to do things naturally as far as living your life. But give me a little synopsis about yourself, and then we'll move into that.
Well, I'm originally from Chicago. And I met my husband back in 2005, and he lives in Tennessee, and we married. And in 2008, he became sick and was told by the doctor he had recurring mono and chronic fatigue syndrome. And he was a truck driver. He's still a truck driver. He was told he could not work, that he needed to come off the road for a month until the mono went away. So he did that, and then it wasn't getting better. It was getting worse. And he was looking at some of the symptoms he had, and he told the doctor, he said, my symptoms don't match the diagnosis. And the doctor said, oh, well, when the mono goes away, those other symptoms will go away too. Well, still, it's like 4 months later, he's still not better. His job, they were holding his job for him, and they called and they said, we can't hold your job any longer. And one night during like that same time period, he was, I'm going to backtrack for a second. At some point when he went to the doctor, again, the doctor said, you might as well go home and file for disability because you're never going to get any better. So about a month maybe went by, and he was sitting watching TV, and the news was on. And then after that, a talk show came on, which he normally didn't watch, but for whatever reason started watching it. And there was a comedian on there who had suffered from mercury poisoning from eating sushi as his main source of protein for 20 years. Excuse me. When he started describing his symptoms, my husband was like, that's me. So then he started looking into where he was getting mercury. Well, a lot of fish have mercury in them, and tuna is very high in mercury, and he was eating, tuna like on a weekly basis out on the road. But he wasn't satisfied like that. He felt there was something else. So that led to his amalgam fillings, which are the silver fillings. They contain mercury, and he had 10 of them. So he started looking into that, and he was like it's my fillings. It's my fillings are making me sick. So he contacted a friend of his who had a health store and was told to come down to the store. She had a foot bath ionizer, which removes heavy metals from the body. So he started detoxing like that, and she gave him a protocol of broken chlorella, vitamin D, and vitamin C, which he alternated week from week. Well, he started getting better and gradually was able to go and get a desk job. So during that time, he was saving money to get the fillings removed. She had told him about a dentist who would be able to remove the fillings safely. Because if it's not done the right way, then you're ingesting more of the amalgam fillings, again, with the mercury and the toxins. So he went and he had half of them done and was feeling even better. He continued with the protocol she gave him. And then finally he just went, you know what, I'm going to put it on the credit card. I want these things out of my mouth. So he did that, continued with the protocol, and slowly started getting better and regaining his health back. So during his research, we found out that the American Dental Association had a gag order on the dentists that said they could not tell us that the mercury fillings were toxic or they could lose their license. So when we found that out, we were just like, well, what else do we know? And that's when we started finding out about the genetically modified organisms in the food, the toxic chemicals in the food, the chemtrails in the sky, the fluoride in the water. I mean, just on and on. And we decided that we had to change the way we were living, because it's like at one point he went back to the doctor, told the doctor, I think I have mercury poisoning, and was literally laughed at. So we just went, we obviously have to do for ourselves. So a lot of what we do is just learning how to continue to have a better quality of life without doing this naturally, without worrying about having to deal with other health issues. So that's how we got started on this path. And we've been living this lifestyle since 2012. My husband will be 60 this year. He says he feels better than he did when he was 40. He's back at work. He just came back from the gym, and, our life is pretty good.
Okay, wow. So you guys went from doctors telling your husband that he wasn't going to work anymore, he was going to be ill for the rest of his life, to now you guys are healthy, all because you changed your lifestyle and started really watching what you put into your body. Is that correct?
Not only what we put into our body, but what we put onto our body. I had found out that the beauty care industry is really loosely regulated. And and a lot of the beauty care products that are out there are carcinogens, which are cancer causing. They're also hormone disruptors, which is contributing to a lot of the health issues that our society is dealing with. I also learned because we do a lot of research since, this all had happened. We continued research and listen to holistic health talks. And during my research, I found out that anything you put onto your skin goes into your bloodstream within 26 seconds. Looking at the cleaning products, there are some ingredients in cleaning products, and I can't tell you which ones. I don't know off the top of my head, but there are a couple of ingredients in cleaning products that are so toxic and hazardous that if you try to go onto some facilities, like gated facilities, with those products, they would not let you in. But it's okay for us to use them in our house.
You make a very valid point, because as I've gotten older, I've kind of started paying attention to what I'm putting in my body, and like you said, on your body, because nowadays we don't know, and I don't know what's going on, but it seems like a lot of people are coming down with different cancers and things like that. But tell me more about some of the things that you have found as far as putting on your body that may be harmful to us, or tell us some of the things that maybe are better alternatives. Like, if instead of using, let's say, a lotion, is there like a natural oil or something like that we should use instead?
Oh, there's so many stuff with it that's out there that we can use. Shea butter is wonderful, which is from a nut. Tamu oil is another nut product that comes from Polynesia, and that's really good for scars and stretch marks and stuff. Of course, aloe vera is wonderful. The only oils you don't want to use, we want to avoid like canola oil, vegetable oil. Those oils are genetically modified, very much so. And even like now olive oil and coconut oil are good choices. But if you're prone to breakouts, they could clog the pores. So you want to know your skin. Jojoba oil is a really great oil for all skin types. Also hemp oil is excellent for all skin types and very closely resembles the natural oils in our skin. So it absorbs very quickly without having an oily, greasy feeling. And I actually, I started making my own skincare products, and I actually sell those now. So, and again, the tammany oil, hemp oil. I'm trying to think. I'm going through my head, but there's a lot of different oils that are on the market that you can use. You just have to make sure that your skin type and tone is good for that oil. That it's a good match. And butters, butters are excellent. You just want to stay natural. Make sure they're organic too.
Okay.
You want them to be, or even wild crafted, because wild crafted is not a bad thing. That just means that they went out into the forest or whatnot, and they forged them, that they picked them themselves.
So as of probably 2 or 3 years ago, I started using coconut oil as a moisturizer for my body.
Uh-huh.
And I love it. And sometimes I put it on my hair. Now, I know a lot of manufacturers of hair care products are starting to say like no parabens, no sulfates, no things like that. Is there anything out there on the market that is halfway decent, safe, or should we just stay clear of it all? Because I know these organic things that you're speaking of, a lot of times they're, could be double the price of a regular shampoo. So how do you, for a woman who's, let's just say, she wants to be natural and healthy and take care of herself, but maybe she can't quite afford to spend that extra money on the organic things. What do you suggest?
I would suggest, that's really it. Well, the first thing is what we do is you have to know your prices. That's the important thing. We don't shop at just one store, and though we do have a Whole Foods here, Whole Foods is expensive. So we go to various stores, and again, know your prices. That's the most important thing. Yes, you're paying a little bit more, but I mean, that's just like with organic food. I hear that from people, it costs more. Well, what's your health worth?
Mm-hmm.
If we tend to our bodies and we take care of what we have, we're going to have, maybe end up being even with the amount of money we're spending versus the money that we're going to spend going to the doctor's office, not to mention the 2 hours you got to sit there before you even get seen. You're losing money from work. It's causing stress. And you were talking about all the health issues we're dealing with, and stress is a big part of it. Stress is very harmful for the body, and I was talking with a single mom yesterday who has a little boy, and she was going, what am I supposed to do? I'm like, you have to find ways of dealing with your stress naturally. Taking a bath with some Epsom salt mixed in with some lavender, drink a cup of chamomile tea, sit down with a child and watch a funny movie. Laughter is so good for us. It creates so many neurotransmitters and hormones that are not just important to our body, but important to our brains too. But going back to the question about, finding products, number one, educate yourself. I wish I would have wrote it down. There's a website that you can go to that, it tells you basically what to look for, because, and speaking of, with organic too, there are times that there might be stuff that's in there that really isn't organic or natural. I think it's like there's a line, like I think it's either 85 or 90% of the ingredients have to be organic.
Mm.
So it doesn't always mean, it's real important to educate ourselves and to know what we're buying. Mm-hmm. I mean, the word fragrance is so broad. It can mean anything.
Well, you mentioned Whole Foods, and we have Whole Foods here. Can we get some good products, let's just say at a regular grocery store, but maybe go to their natural organic aisle and find those things there?
Oh yeah, definitely. I know. I don't know if it's all over. One thing I have found is like our town. We live in a small town, so it's hard for us to get a lot of organic here. There's other towns where the people are more health conscious, and if we find that when we go to those towns, we can get more organic things. So, like right now, Target here has an aisle just for beauty care products. I don't know what's all down there. I haven't been down that aisle. I did a little bit. I was looking for Dr. Bonner's soap, which they happen to have at a good price. So that's, something I do know that they have. Again, I don't know what else they have, but they have one aisle here anyway that's all natural. And even Target here, even with the foods, they're starting to carry a lot more organic. But now I'm in Louisiana. I'm in a town called Ponchatoula. I'm let's see, get directions, east of Baton Rouge and an hour north of New Orleans. Now we have to go to Baton Rouge to go to Costco. We'll go to the Whole Foods there or the Target there because they have a lot more organic because it's a bigger town and more people there are more conscious to their health. We have a branch of stores here called Albertsons, and they're just in Louisiana. And the same thing there, we have one in a nearby town here that's pretty close, like 15, 20 minutes away. And they keep a great amount of organic products, but food, cleaning products, beauty products. But now if we go to Baton Rouge, the one there is bigger. And again, it's, learning your prices, so we know how much we can get I'm going to use our laundry soap as an example. We know how much we can get it for at Target. So if we're at Albertsons, we're looking at the price and it's a little bit higher at Albertsons. But at the same time, we're going to say, okay, well, if we go over to Target, we got to spend, we're going to spend that extra dollar just in gas to go to Target. So why not just get it here? It's a matter of, like I said, knowing your prices, looking for sales. We find go and shop the discount aisles too. They have got those aisles where things are discounted. We find stuff 50% off. We just found grass-fed bison for 50% off. It was originally like 8 something for the package. And then it went down to, I think like 5 something. And then we ended up paying like $3.50 for it. And it was formed into patties, and there were 4 hamburger bison patties in there. So, you got to keep an eye out. And that's another thing that we do. Like if we see something on sale, like a lot of times Whole Foods will have our deodorant on sale. So when they do, we'll take advantage of that. We'll buy 2 of them instead of just buying 1. But again, it depends upon how discounted it is. So there's a lot of, eating organic, using organic cleaning products. You just have to kind of, be a little strategic as far as what you're doing. We have salvage stores down here where they take like products that are outdated or that are dented or that are being discontinued, and they sell them at really good prices. So we'll go over there sometimes and we'll walk out with like 10 bags of groceries and whatnot for not even $100. Yeah, I mean, crazy, and it's organic. So there's ways. Just be smart.
So I'm curious, as far as the cleaning products, are there any certain name brands that you suggest, or is it just going in reading labels?
We use a lot of 7th generation for our cleaning products. That's like the biggest one that we use. But another thing too, like instead of using Clorox when I'm cleaning the bathtub or the sinks, I just get baking soda. Just sprinkle some baking soda on it. That I have an all-purpose cleaner, so that I clean my floors with, I clean my counters with, I clean my bathroom with it. But yeah, most of our cleaning products are 7th generation.
Okay, I've seen that in stores before. So go ahead and let's dive a little bit deeper. Now, I know you were saying that you have some meditation aids to relieve stress and some things as far as helping with menopause. Let's go into that because I'm big on self-care with being a woman who's busy working and all that. And I know there's our listeners are too. So I'm always trying to bring that kind of value. So what other things can you tell us that will help us in our daily life?
Well, let's start with stress because our society is very stressed. A lot of women are single. They're raising their kids by themselves. They're having to work a job, come home, cook meals, make sure the kids' homeworks are done, on and on and on. And I applaud them. I think that they're very strong women, and I love the fact that they're doing this, but I know that they're stressed. So and I know it's hard, too, for them to take time for themselves because they're tired. It's that easy. When it comes to stress, one thing we have to realize is that our bodies work a certain way. So if we are being chased by a bear, our bodies, the cortisol releases from the adrenal gland. The cortisol then causes the immune system to shut down, the digestive system to shut down, blood pressure is raised, the heart's raised, and we have a decrease in pain for that point in time. Well, once that bear, we're away from that bear, you think about it. When you're in a situation like that and your adrenaline is going and you finally feel safe, what do? We breathe. We sit down or we whatever and we breathe. And that helps bring our body back to normal. We also have a part of our brain called the hippocampus. The hippocampus is designed to shut the cortisol off. But now, and that's called the fight and flight response. But see, our body doesn't know the difference between being chased by a bear or I'm stressed because my finances are messed up, or I whatever the situation is. Our body still reacts the same. So the majority of the time, we are in that fight or flight mode, which is unhealthy. It causes weight gain, it causes hair loss, it causes tooth decay. And just on and on and on. And so many health issues, high blood pressure, you're more likely to have a heart attack. Pregnant women are more likely to have a miscarriage if they are stressed. Causes inflammation. And, that's another thing our society is dealing with is chronic inflammation because we want to have inflammation. Inflammation is normal to regenerate the cells and try to think what else the cells, and I want to say blood vessels, but I know that's not right. But it has a purpose. It regenerates things in our body so that our body can be healthy. But again, because our society is constantly in that fight or flight mode and we're so stressed, we have abnormal inflammation. And I don't know, I hope I mentioned weight gain because weight gain is another thing, bloating, and just stuff like that, just, the things that make us feel really yuck. So we need to find a way of dealing with stress. It's not easy for everybody, but we have to. If we want to have a better quality of life, we have to deal with this. So first, let's talk about maybe single moms and how they can, and that's the thing too. When mom's stressed, the kids are stressed. The kids know when mom's stressed. And the way mom deals with it is going to be the way that our children are going to deal with it. So let's help some single moms deal with their stress, but in the meantime, help, relieve the kids' stress. So some fun things you could do, and I know this might be hard, especially for like working moms, but you might find it really, what's the word I'm looking for? Fun and not enlightening, and just something like to do. Dance. Put on some music and just dance. And just loosen up, be kind of crazy. Sing at the top of your lungs. Singing is another thing that is so good for us. Watch a funny movie. Laughter creates so many neurotransmitters and hormones that our bodies need and that our brain needs for good health that laughter really is good medicine. And with the kids, another thing, bring them in on a meditation. Put on some calm, especially if it's before bedtime. I mean, if it's before bedtime, you might not want to be dancing around. You might get them wired. On the other hand, it could help to get some of that energy out, especially if they're in school sitting for 8 hours. It might help to release some of that energy they're experiencing. Then what we could do is we could give that child a nice bath with some lavender. You want to mix it with Epsom salts, because we all know oil and water don't mix. Mix them with the lavender and let them go in the bath. Prepare while they're in the bath. Go ahead and prepare them a cup of chamomile tea. Chamomile is the best herb for kids. It's called the children's herb, and it's very relaxing, very calming, and great if they have an upset stomach. So that's something that you could do, and then even maybe put on some meditative music in the room. But another thing you want to be aware of too is we're being bombarded by the electromagnetic field, which is disrupting our natural magnetic field. And if they have electronics in their room that's within 10 feet of their bed, that could be disturbing their sleep and causing, issues that they might be having. So if you're going to, maybe put on some meditative music or something, make sure that that's 10 feet from their bed. And let them have that meditative music. And it's good because they'll learn how to calm themselves. And then once that's taken care of, then mom can go ahead and she could have herself a nice bath with some lavender. Maybe after that, maybe she wants to read a book for a little bit. Maybe she wants to meditate on her own a little bit. One thing that we could do, no matter where we are, is breathe. We are not breathing properly. All of us have 20% of stale air in our lungs because we don't breathe. We should be doing deep breathing deeply in through the nose, holding it, and then blowing out slowly through the mouth, making sure that we get all that air, and not just the chest, but also in the belly, so that we're expanding it. So it's hold and just doing that maybe 6 times. This is also known to lower your blood pressure. My husband was dealing with high blood pressure. He went to a holistic doctor, and she told him, she said, this is what you need to do is breathe like this. And that's another thing too, is that he was on 7 blood pressure medications, and now he takes one once in a while. He watches his blood pressure. So he was able to get off of all that and did that naturally too. So try just breathing, and again, listening to affirmations are a really good thing. That's something I listen to. Mantras are another good thing to listen to, especially if you're feeling, bad about yourself, you're feeling dumped on and whatnot. You want to hear affirmations that are confirming that you are worthy, that you are awesome, that you are deserving. So those I'm trying. If you're really in that fight or flight mode a lot, you might have excess cortisol. To help bring down that cortisol, ashwagandha is really good. I would not drink it as a tea, but capsules. Now, one thing that we've done, because we do a lot of supplements, you could buy a capsule maker for under $20, and you can get a decent sized bag of capsule gel caps for a decent amount of money, and then go ahead and buy the organic powder and just make your own capsules. So we do that with turmeric, because turmeric's great for helping to relieve inflammation. So that's something you could do. Another one of my favorites, crystals. I love crystals. They have such great energy, and they're great for kids. I actually sell crystal jewelry and crystals at a farmer's market. And when I have rose quartz and amethyst on my table, that is the first thing kids will come and grab. They're very calming, very soothing. Rose quartz is actually known as the crystal of unconditional love. Amethyst is known as a sobriety stone, but it's also great if children have nightmares to put it under. The thing is that you have to know how to cleanse them and how to program them and energize them, which takes some time, because especially in the quartz family, of course, rose quartz and amethyst are in the quartz family. What tends to happen is that they'll absorb negative energy. Excuse me. But crystals are a great thing. One crystal that's really wonderful that doesn't need to be cleansed at all is cellulite, and they're sold in wands. And I actually have one on every one of my walls in my living room. And I just feel my living room is just a very blissful, happy place to be. It's just the atmosphere in there. Excuse me. The atmosphere in my living room, but is just so calming. I love to be in there at the end of the day and just kick back and relax. And just recently, because I myself have been dealing with some stress, and I noticed it because I noticed that I was inflamed. That there's just I had certain signs, and I had gone to a local store where I buy some of my crystal jewelry making supplies, and I was actually looking for picture jasper, which is really great for artists and creative people. And for some reason, I said ocean jasper. So the girl started showing me some ocean jasper, and then she had on a bracelet that had an ocean jasper opal bead on it, which I was admiring. So I bought a strand of those, and I didn't know anything about the ocean jasper. But when I got home, I found out it was really good for stress and for very calming and relaxing. And it's really funny because I always say, we don't choose crystals, crystals choose us. So I don't think it was any mistake that I went into the store and we ended up with this ocean jasper. So I came home and I made myself a bracelet with amethyst and clear quartz because they enhance the properties of the ocean jasper. And I put it on, and I am not kidding you, and this is the first time this has happened to me. I put it on and I just felt like I was in bliss land. I was just so relaxed and so content.
So
I think it's it. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything, but yeah, I think that's about it as far as that goes.
Okay. So, for a woman who it's always on the go and it's hard for her to just be still, how does she get started to do these relaxing things so that it can limit her stress?
It has to be mindful. You have to make the time. I do a lot because I don't just have, I have my own podcasts. And I also, I speak at different places. I sell at the farmer's market. I brew kombucha. I make crystal jewelry. I also make the skin products that I sell, and I have my own website. So I'm really busy. So I've had to make myself a list every day of things that I want to get done. And I came to a point where I realized that, you know what, if everything doesn't get done that I want to get done, it's okay. I'm not going to freak about it. I used to. I've realized that if I just dedicate a certain amount of time to each task, I'm better off to do that rather than spending like a whole day editing a podcast. Well, not editing, my husband does that, putting a slideshow together for the podcast. You know, I don't have to do the whole thing. Before, it was like I would take one task and I would complete that task during the day. And I've come to the point I've got too much to do. I can't do that. So I allow myself an hour for everything that I have to do. And it's just being mindful. You just have to realize that. And again, I mean, that's with me too. You know, I told my husband the other day, because I've been putting aside my meditation, my exercising. And I told him, I said, I can't do this. I said, I have to tend to myself. You know, I'm over here so busy trying to be successful that I'm not tending to myself. So, okay, I get successful, but my health is poor. What good does that do me?
Mm-hmm.
So again, you have to be mindful and just be like, okay, you know what? I can't meditate for a half hour, but I can meditate for 7 minutes. And actually 7 minutes of meditation is all you need. And there's an app that you can get for your phone that has various meditations on it at different lengths.
Is that Calm?
I wish I'm sorry.
Is that the Calm app?
No, I don't think so. One of my other guests, a guest that I had on my podcast, told me about it, and I wrote it down. And I probably should keep it written down. And I don't like to use my phone for a lot of stuff because it's, the electromagnetic field. I don't even put my phone to my head. I always speak on speakerphone. So any meditations I do, I would rather have the TV. Okay, we're doing the TV and I'm in there with the Wi-Fi box. That makes a lot of sense, right? Yeah, we're just doing the best we can. That's how we're doing. But I prefer to use TV or the computer over my phone.
So
So I
Joyce,
don't.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say. So I really don't know a lot about the apps on the phones.
Okay. What I was going to say is you sound very passionate about this. What did you do before you started doing your getting into the natural healings and things like that?
Well, my first husband had passed away back in 2004. My kids were 5, 7, and 13, and I was homeschooling them. And I was able to, I feel blessed that I was able to stay at home and homeschool them during the time when my husband was disabled. Well, after 2 years, he ended up passing away from complications of type 2 diabetes. And then we were getting the death benefits. But see, we were also in the position because we lived in a basement apartment back in Chicago, downstairs from his parents. So we didn't have to worry about a lot of the bills that most single moms have to worry about. I didn't have to worry about that. It was all taken care of for me, thankfully. So I was in a good spot there. But even while he was disabled, and I had prayed about going back to work I did not like being on welfare. I just really did not like it. But every time I prayed about it, I was told no, that I was where I was doing what I was supposed to do. So I started taking in homeschool books on consignment, used homeschool books on consignment, and I started selling those online. And it didn't do a whole lot, but it did because I always say welfare will feed you, but they won't clean you. So it did go to help buy the cleaning products and whatnot that we needed. So I was doing that, and again, homeschooling my kids. I became a rep for a company called Storytime Felts, which is an excellent company. There are 2 moms that started it. They were homeschool moms. They were educational products. And it was nice because I could go ahead and sell. I was able to get some free products that my kids were able to use. So I was really passionate about that. And that went pretty good in Chicago. Once I married my current husband, we moved to West Tennessee in 2005. And then I wasn't doing as good with it. I just couldn't get it going down there for some reason. I don't know. I thought it was an awesome product. My husband talked me into going back to school so I did. I got my associate's in business. And when we moved to Tennessee, I did put my kids in school. The school systems there were a lot different than Chicago. In Chicago, you had kindergarten through 8th grade in one building. And even I did send my daughter to kindergarten, and she changed. I ended up with another child. She wasn't the same. But I did take her out during 1st grade when I found out she was developing an ulcer, and at 7 years old. And I won't forget this. So they all went to school. My daughter was starting high school. She went to high school. Both my boys were going into 1st and 3rd grade. And the school that they were going to covered kindergarten through 3rd grade. My husband knew the principal, nice woman. I love the school. Every school should be run the way she runs it. But anyway, the boys were in school for 2 years. I went back to school. And then when we moved here to Louisiana in 2010, I became an Usborne Books and More rep. Again, because we were homeschooling. They had a lot of great books for homeschoolers. So it was nice to be able to go ahead and make some sales and then be able to get some free products for my children or discounted products. And even here with that, I was trying to get into the schools because we could do book fairs like Scholastic. But that was the problem, that everybody was doing Scholastic. I really couldn't get my foot in the door. I did find one Montessori school that loved our books, and during Christmas time, every year I would go there and set up a book fair for 2 days. So that was really great. So that's what I was doing. I did some freelance writing for a while, and that was geared towards natural living. I did that back like in 2014, 2015. In 2015, I had a dream coach. Her name is Krista Nelson. She was awesome. And she kind of helped me figure, because at this point, my kids are growing up. I think at that time, I'm trying to figure out, I think my middle one was already done high school, and the youngest one was really the only one I had that was schooling. And I was at the point where it's like, okay, I knew that we were going to be losing the income, because once the kids turn 18, the death benefits stop. So I was trying to, I told my husband, I said, I'm not going back to work for somebody else. I'm not working for their dream. I have a dream of my own. But my dream was all over the place, because I'm very passionate about natural living. I'm very passionate about helping people. I wanted to become an herbalist. I wanted to do aromatherapy. What else? Just anything natural. I'll be able to teach meditation, be able to be a Reiki master, just all these things. And it was like, there's no way that I could do all of this. I had to focus on something. So Krista helped me to focus, and through listening to what I had to say, she had suggested that I start this magazine. So I started a Natural Living magazine, because through the Natural Living magazine, I could incorporate all my passions with all these other modalities and put them into one spot. So from 2015 to 2016, I started the Natural Living magazine and was doing that. And at the same time is when I started, I got into podcasting and was doing that through Wolf Spirit Radio. I had a weekly show for every Friday for 2 hours. And it was getting hard for me to find guests. And when I had a guest that would bail, I would have to do the show on my own. I wasn't always prepared to do that. So it just got too hard. So I stopped doing that after a year. Let's see, that was then 2016. Well, I started learning about herbs and creating my first skincare product. That was in 2012, where I created my salve, my soothing salve.
Okay. Go ahead.
And just continue learning. It's just been an ongoing process of learning whatever I can and just incorporating that into our lifestyle. So that's basically what I was doing.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering if maybe you were in the healthcare industry or anything like that, the reason why you're so passionate about the natural living. But
no, it was just, losing one husband to a health issue, and then seeing another one with a health issue going downhill and being told these things, and then finding out that it was something else. There's other people out there who are on all kinds of medications. They're misdiagnosed. They're not diagnosed at all. They're on medications, and a lot of those medications stop our body from absorbing certain nutrients like vitamin D and B vitamins, which are very important to us. And we just, it started out him sharing his story, and we just want people to know that there is another way of doing things, and it's a better way, because it's not as intrusive as some of the other things that are going out there. And I'm going to do that disclaimer. I'm not a healthcare professional at all. I cannot treat, I cannot diagnose, I cannot prescribe. I am simply sharing my experience, what I have gone through since 2012, and the lifestyle that we're leading. I'm 54 years old. I am on no medications whatsoever. We do take supplements, but that's about it.
Okay. Well, Joyce, we're going to wind down here, and I really appreciate everything you're saying, because like you said earlier, what is, everything in the world that you can achieve if you don't have good health?
Right.
And that's something that I'm finding as I grow older that is very important to me is taking care of myself inside and out. So I'm pretty sure the listeners, they're going to appreciate that as well. But what I like to do is, of all my guests, I ask 10 questions. And the questions are they're fun, just off the cuff, just to know a little bit about you. So are you ready for the questions?
I'm ready.
Okay. Who or what motivates you?
Helping people.
Okay. What demotivates
Um, Stress.
you? Okay. When was a time that something was said or done to hurt you, but it worked for your good?
Oh, wow. Oh, my gosh. That's a hard one. I don't know. I can't answer that. I'm trying to think and nothing's happening. A time when somebody said something to me and that hurt me and turned out for my good.
Yeah, it could be said or something that was done to you.
I have a lot said and a lot that was done to me. But that's the thing too, is I just try to keep the past in the past and let's go forward.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll move on. What is your fear?
My fear, losing my children before I go.
Okay. Is there a time when you wish you had done something that you didn't?
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, totally. Totally. There's been times that actually one of them was when I was back in Chicago. I had taken a temp job. I had been in business for finance for 5 years. And there was something that had happened between me and my manager. And I decided it was time to go another route. And right next door was a temp agency. And I ended up being a temp at Dun & Bradstreet. And when I went there, I was just there to answer the phones. Well, I don't like to be idle. If I'm going to a job, I want to work. I want to do something. I knew I was going to be answering the phones. I took a book to read, and time was just going by so slow. And I kept going to the person that I was dealing with, and I said, "Is there something I could do?" No. Went back better. I said, "Are you sure there's not something I could do?" No. And then I basically begged, "Please give me something to do." And they did give me something else to do. Well, the thing is at Dun & Bradstreet, what they were doing there is like what I was doing in finance, because I was what they called a credit investigator. I would pull up credit reports and go over them and then give them, because I worked at a used car lot, and then give them to the manager. But it turned out that I guess I somehow impressed them because they actually wanted to hire me full time. But because at that point in time, I was kind of confused with my life. And it was also in the suburbs of Chicago where there were not sidewalks. And I had to walk from the bus stop because I didn't have a car at that time. In Chicago, who needs a car? But that's one thing I do regret. I do regret not taking that job.
Okay. Is there a time that you wish you had not done something?
I had not done something. Yeah. Back in Chicago when we lived downstairs from my in-laws, the bathroom needed to be redone. And that was another thing that helped me to be able to stay with my kids too, is because not only were they getting the death benefits, but then there was back pay for all that time that my first husband was disabled. So we had a year and a half of back pay. Well, my kids never had a bath. There was not a bathtub down there, so they took bath and sinks, and I tried to make it fun for them to play in the shower with water and bubbles and whatnot. But I wanted them to have a bath, so I hired somebody, a man I was going to church with, to come in and redo the bathroom. And I just kept hearing in my head, "Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it." And so, yeah, I regret doing it.
Okay. What is your definition of success?
Being happy. Being happy, having a good quality of life. If I can do that and, helping others, if I can do that, I'm successful.
Okay. How do you recharge?
I take time after, a certain time. I tell myself that I'm done working and I just kick back and just watch some TV. I like to do some meditation sometimes. During the day while I'm working, I listen to affirmations, so that it helps. I like to be able to exercise and do some Qigong. Qigong is really a great form. It comes from China, very similar to Tai Chi, but it helps to massage the organs inside and raise your normal vibrational frequency. So that's something I like to do.
Okay. What are you awesome at?
Just being me.
Okay. What legacy do you want to leave?
Oh, wow. I'm not one for being in the spotlight, so it's like, if I want to leave a legacy, it's just that I cared. I did my best to help. That's basically, yeah.
Okay, that's a good legacy. Okay, so we're done with the 10 questions. What is one motivational takeaway that you want to leave the listeners with?
Don't give up. Just, I found that no matter how bad things have gotten, there is always something better around the corner. I used music a lot to lift me up and to motivate me. Whatever motivates you, just don't give up.
Okay. Okay, Joyce, tell the listeners where they can connect with you.
Well, I mentioned my skincare products, so you can go to hborganicskincare.com to take a look at those. Our podcast is Natural Bliss Podcast. You can find us on YouTube. We're also on Anchor, which has connected us to 7 different platforms that apps like Spotify, for instance. We're also on Patreon. And on Patreon, we're offering a course in crystals that I'm going to be teaching. So it's going to go over how to cleanse them, choosing them, and then specific crystals. So like maybe diving more into crystals about stress, because there are other crystals that help to deal with stress. So like stress, then, how to meditate with them, the chakras, how they coincide with the chakras. So yeah, you can go ahead and check that out. I'm also on Facebook, Natural Bliss Podcast on Facebook, and also Heavenly Bodies on Facebook too. So there you can connect with me.
Okay. Well, this has been a great interview. I'm pretty sure we'll have some takeaways as far as natural living and things that we should be putting in and on our bodies. But I want to say thank you for taking this time out to be an interview on Trina Talk today.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Trina. I appreciate it.
Well, thank you. If you're looking for a speaker for your live event or conference, go to my website and read my bio and contact me at bit.ly/booktrina. I hope you have a great week. Until then, remember, if you change your mindset, you'll change your life. Keep striving. Success is a journey, not a destination. You can listen to Trina Talk anytime and anywhere. It's available on iTunes, Google Play Music, Stitcher, Spotify, and all other places that you can listen to podcasts. If you like the podcast, please don't forget to go to iTunes to subscribe, rate, review, and share. If you have questions for me or need inspiration on how to go to the next level, tweet me directly at Trina L. Martin.